It was a scorching afternoon in Ouagadougou, and Ibrahim Tror, the young leader of Bina Fazo, sat in his official car, driven by his chauffeur, after attending a meeting in the heart of the city. Despite his high-ranking position, he always preferred simplicity in his movements, avoiding flashy convoys whenever possible. Traffic was crawling slower than usual, and the car came to a halt at a busy intersection. As they waited for the light to turn, a small, fragile figure appeared at the window. A young girl, no older than 8, stood there, dressed in worn-out clothes, her timid smile barely concealing the hardship in her eyes. She carried a makeshift tray, balancing packets of peanuts and candies. "Please, sir," she said, her soft voice barely cutting through the rumbling of the surrounding vehicles. "Would you buy something?" At first, Traor's security guards moved instinctively, gently attempting to usher the girl away, as they had done in similar situations to ensure his safety. But Traoré raised his hand, signaling them to stop. He rolled down the window and met the girl's gaze, noticing the flicker of hope still alive in her young eyes despite her difficult circumstances. "How much?" he asked, his tone kind. 50 francs, sir," she responded, hesitantly offering him a small packet of peanuts. Reaching into his wallet, Traoré pulled out some bills, far more than the asking price, and handed them to her. But before she could even thank him, he did something completely unexpected. He instructed his driver to take the next quiet street and, at the same time, asked for the girl to be brought along. The security officers hesitated, glancing at one another. But they knew better than to question Traoré when he was this resolute. The little girl, confused and slightly afraid, was led to the vehicle under the curious gazes of passers-by. "Don't be scared," Traoré said, leaning forward slightly to reassure her. "I just want to talk to you." Her heart pounded as she stepped inside. She had no idea why this important man, who had just bought her peanuts, suddenly wanted to speak with her. Yet, there was something about his calm voice and the sincerity in his eyes that made her feel, strangely, safe. Inside the car, she hesitantly took a seat on the soft leather, clutching her tray of peanuts and candies as though it was the most valuable thing she owned. Noticing her unease, Ibrahim Tror decided to ease the tension with a simple yet purposeful question. "What's your name?" he asked, offering a warm smile. "Awa," she murmured shyly, eyes fixed on the car floor. "That's a beautiful name, Awa," Tror said. "How old are you?" 8, she whispered, still uncertain why she was there. He nodded, keeping his voice gentle. "Do you sell these peanuts every day?" She nodded. "Yes, sir. My mother is sick, so I help her by selling them on the streets." Her honesty struck Tror deeply. He was well aware that many children in Burkina Faso faced similar struggles, forced to abandon school and even their childhood just to help their families survive. But hearing it firsthand from someone so young brought a different weight to the reality he already knew too well. "Do you like studying, Awa?" he asked, his curiosity genuine. For a brief moment, her eyes lit up. But then, as if remembering something, her face fell. "I loved it, sir," she admitted. "But now, I can't go anymore. My mother needs me." Tror sat in silence for a few moments, absorbing her words. He knew that across the country, many children were trapped in this same cycle: poverty, lack of opportunity, and an uncertain future. But he also knew change was possible. Change required action. "Awa, listen to me," he said, his voice soft yet firm, his hand resting lightly on her shoulder. "You deserve to be a child.
To play.
To learn. To dream about your future. And I promise you, I will do everything I can to make sure you go back to school." The little girl's eyes widened, disbelief washing over her face. No one had ever promised her something like that before. To her, the idea of returning to school felt like a distant dream, one she had already given up on. But something in Traor's voice, something in the way he spoke, made her think, maybe, just maybe, this promise was real. "Why, sir?" she asked hesitantly. "Why would you do that for me?" Traoré smiled, a thoughtful look in his eyes. "Because you matter, Awa. Every child in this country matters. And I believe children like you can change the future of Bina Fazo." She lowered her gaze again, overwhelmed. She didn't know how to respond. But deep inside, gratitude swelled in her chest. After speaking with her for a few more minutes, Traoré asked the driver to take them back to the spot where they had first met Awa. Before she stepped out, he handed her a notebook and a box of colored pencils. "This is for you," he said, encouragingly. "Start writing down your dreams, Awa. And soon, we'll make them come true." With trembling hands, she accepted the gifts, whispering a heartfelt, "Thank you." As she stepped out of the car, the security guards and bystanders watched, some even applauding quietly. Others simply looked on, admiration clear in their eyes, for the leader who had paused his day to help a child most people overlooked. Yet, even after dropping Awa off, Ibrahim Tror couldn't shake the encounter from his mind. She was just one child, but her story was the story of thousands more, children scattered across the streets of Ouagadougou and beyond. He knew promises alone wouldn't be enough. It was time for real action.